Crumble opinion. Hello, my little crumb-hungry crumb whores. Oh, I need a better intro. Hold on. What was that? Hello, crumb guzzlers. Hello, my little crumb guzzlers, my little crumpers. Welcome to In My Crumble Opinion. This is a very special episode. We are here doing a reunion with the High Princx Pageant Cycle 2. What do they call it? Season 2? Cycle 2? Part 2. So we're going to be getting acquainted with the cast, seeing what everyone's been up to, hearing the tea behind the scenes. First, I want to thank Florida Man for letting us film here in her beautiful, weird circus orgy house. It's great. I love it. Do we have any land acknowledgements? Do we know what we're on right now? Ohlone? Cement. Well,
Ohlone Land. Yes, Ohlone Land, Chickasaw Land, and yes, it's San Francisco. So.
Thank you very much for that, Kai B. Michaels. Before we continue, I do have the Patreon live. I have 3 patrons so far. 5 patrons. That's crazy to me. On the next Crumble, I'm going to shout you all out. I think one of them might be here. But this Crumble episode is all about the High Princx Pageant, so we won't talk about me for too much longer. But I will say that you can listen to this episode and all other episodes of Crumble on Spotify as well. And you can find that all in my link tree, which at some point I will have up, probably by the time this episode airs. Okay, great. So before we get started, I want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Willpower, Amora Tees, and Mercury Divine are not here. And some people can't handle the truth. Some people can't share their truth or bear to hear it. So whatever is said in their absence, too bad, because that's what people are going to remember from now on. I'm just kidding. Mercury Divine is going to be joining us a little later. He's running late, but Amora and Willpower, we will speak ill of them in their absence. I'm going to need your help. Who can help me explain to the viewers at home what the High Princx Pageant is?
Since I have the mic, the High Princx Pageant is a competition of drag performers, seasoned drag performers in the Bay Area.
What qualifies as seasoned?
The qualifier is that you have 5 years of drag experience minimum. Other than that, that's about it. So you can apply. Yeah, in the Bay Area. Kind of. We're greater Bay Area diversity hires.
Who does the High Princx Pageant? Who puts it on?
It is by Tito Soto at Princess at Oasis. That was my plug.
And sponsored by Casadores Tequila.
Ooh, lovely tequila.
It was Milagro. It was Milagro.
Milagro Tequila.
Okay. Well, speaking of sponsors, we don't have any sponsors yet, but if anybody from Squatty Potty or Pure for Men is watching, I would love you as a sponsor. So, High Princx Pageant. Anything else to add about Milagro Casaderos?
I feel like your audience is pretty well versed in the Princx Pageant since the first 4 episodes of In My Crumble Opinion were Princx recap episodes.
That's true. That's true. I tried to start doing like RuPaul Drag Race recaps, but I just found that me and my guests didn't care as much about that than we did about the High Princx Pageant. Local drag, Bay Area drag, and
baby.
that's why we're all here, because we all love that.
Because we love bad drag.
And
all right,
wins.
question 1. Oh, actually, why don't we do some introductions? Who are you holding the mic?
Hi, I'm Alpha Andromeda from San Jose, California. I didn't win the pageant.
That's okay. We all saw. Who's next to you?
I am Shiksa, currently living in San Francisco, California, and I also did not win the pageant.
I'm Rosalia Valentine. I am from Sacramento. I did not win the pageant, but I did get second runner-up, which did get a $350 cash prize.
Wow!
And a whole lot of happiness on my end. So
Aww.
that pays for itself.
Hi, I'm Kai B. Michaels. I live in Oakland. And as we said, we love bad drag, so I did win the pageant for $2,023, which I subsequently gave a good chunk to my backup dancers and helpers. And then I bought
Beautiful.
a PC.
Yes, bitch. Hi, I am Paige Turner. I am from San Francisco, California. I did not win the pageant, but I did get voted mixed congeniality.
Oh, wonderful.
I know you didn't, bitch.
When did we'll talk about that.
None of these bitches voted for me, did they?
Tito probably just chose someone at random. Okay, so has anyone done pageants before, or is this your first pageant? Oh, everyone's nodding. Oh, yeah.
I can start. I did Star Search in 2020, right before the world kind of burned down. And I got second runner-up.
Oh,
that's fantastic.
So they found the star.
They did find the star.
Who was the star that year?
Roma
Who
Holiday.
was the star? Oh.
Roma Holiday was the star that year, and Sanjeev was first runner-up.
I have done the Little Mixed Monster pageant in the past, and I also did Star Search back in 2017, I believe. And that year, Vanilla Meringue won.
Ooh.
I did a few local pageants in Sacramento. One was Miss Faces pageants way back when, which I got first runner-up for. And the most recent one was like a little YouTube competition called Into the Draglands for Sacramento performers, which I was also top 3. They never told me if I was first or second runner-up, but it didn't matter. No money there anyway for us. So, yeah.
I am the current reigning holder of 2 bar pageant titles of bars that no longer exist in Denver, Colorado. So I'm technically Muck's Weirdo November and Muck's Pride and Swagger 2018. And I have come second, third, and fourth in a variety of other non-pageant competitions.
I just want to slow you down. Are you saying mucks?
Mucks. Does
anyone say mucks, or do we all say mix?
I will say that in that
mix.
particular competition, Muck's Weirdo, that is how everyone said it.
Kai, you forgot one. We did California Gold. Oh my god! And you also got, I want to say, second runner-up. And I again didn't place. And then Turbo Pageants. And I won Miss Big Top at Bow.
Wow. Oh, I remember.
Did you have a different body back then? Or Big Top? You're a Big Top?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's about it.
So how did High Princx Pageant compare to these other pageants? Were they conventional pageants, or was this kind of different in any way?
I think this was the most structured and the most set in mind with the fact that it's going to be a show. Like, they really plan this out to be entertaining for the audience and not so much, oh, it's a competition, here's competition rules and all these other things that kind of factor into it like that.
I think like Princess and Oasis in particular do like brand identity really well. So a lot of the other competitions I've participated in were like, let's see who the new performers are, or let's just have a competition while Drag Race is also happening. But this one was like, we have a cool space and a really cool show and a cool producer team and people we like. Let's like show that off in the best way possible. So that's like the big difference I found.
Yeah, and I just want to echo that too, because even in the application, it said like, what is your dream number, and think of like everything Oasis and production has to offer and utilize it. So like right off the bat, you were told like, if you're going to do this pageant, you need to bring out the biggest number you've ever done in your life, which I think we all really did. And it must have been amazing to be an audience member at the show, because that was just wild. So
it was fine. I'm kidding.
And there's something to be said about it being 2 nights as well, because being able to focus your energy into 2 separate, because a look and a talent are 2 different like things, and like being able to fully embody the look one night and then fully do your number the other night is like, oh my god, that's absolutely amazing. I love that.
D, all of the above. No, it was a really cool experience. And I agree. Like, I haven't really done a pageant like that before. I also liked, we weren't thrown into these like very hyper specific like challenges or categories or anything. It's like, produce these 3 types of things, like produce a look, do a really great lip sync battle, do a big number that's authentically you. So I'd never done anything like that before. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Even the runway was really broad.
Yeah.
A little too broad.
Runway was too broad.
Yeah.
Say more.
I don't know if we've ever talked about it like as a cast, but like I remember reading the instructions, like thinking like, because the challenge, if you will, was like drag 3000, which was like
Princess 3000.
Princess. I feel like everybody heard something different. Okay, so
It was written.
Well, you heard something different.
It was written.
I feel like we all read it differently because I read that and I'm like, they want to see like futuristic drag. That's like immediately what I got. And then I feel like we all like said like, I think that's what they want, but we're gonna do this.
I think they wanted allusions to like futurism, but what I believe the consensus ended up being was like your vision of the future of drag, as opposed to, because I think if the theme was just like future of drag, we're gonna get a lot of like robots and silver and bald
Are you
heads.
dragging someone? Are you beating someone?
No, I was about to start dragging him more. I'm sorry, that was not about you.
No, because that's literally what I did. I did like, like a robot, like look and drag, and so that's what I did.
I mean, like, I had a big challenge with it because my aesthetic is not, it's like very like old school it's burlesque and it's not futuristic really at all. So I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this theme?
Retro future.
Retro future, yeah. So I kind of went that direction. But did anybody else like have a challenge with the runway challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like had an idea of what I wanted to do and like tried my best to fit it into what I thought they wanted with the theme. Cause I was like, I gotta be passionate about this shit. So like, I can always tweak it. And like, yeah. And I think I kind of interpreted it as like, how do I don't know, like the B look for me was like it was cerebral. It was in my head because like I went with like kind of like, older aesthetics, like a Rococo kind of silhouette and Rococo references like in the bustle and stuff, but also like like the future is kind of now, is kind of soon or coming up soon, and like what I thought fashion was going for, I was also doing like a Mugler homage, and like also to me I really went into the pageant with there's this mantra, there's this Ghanaian symbol. It's called a Sankofa. It means learn from the past and apply it to your future. So I was kind of going into it with like that idea of like meshing the past and the present and the future, or mashing the past and the present to create the future a little bit. So yeah, like, and also royalty, right? Like I went with like a Queen Bee look because it said you have to do like a royal kind of look. And so like, yeah, there are different pieces that I kind of like, played with a little bit there, but it was. Yeah.
And it paid off. I mean, you share that category with someone?
With Mercury.
With
yeah.
Mercury, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll hear from Mercury later. Anyone else want to talk about the pageant format or?
I was just going to share, I had a similar experience with the runway where I felt like a lot of us had like ideas. Well, like I think that you and I both like knew that we wanted to do the pageant in advance of like learning anything about it. So we kind of had ideas going in. And then the difficult part was adjusting them to what the themes ended up being. But I think that's why it was important that it was like so broad, because you were able to like negotiate that with the ideas that you already had. And I had a similar thing where I ended up changing not the design of my look, but the materials for it, because I knew that I wanted to do something like regal and knight-like and kind of classical. But when they said that the theme was future of drag, I like was able to give it a narrative. Like with mine in particular, I was like, okay, future drag apocalypse. We need hardy materials like denim, and our rhinestones have turned into like big crystal spears. I think it like provided a cool bit of inspiration on top of like the fact that the assignment was to just do us.
I loved her look. I loved Alpha.
Yeah. Thank you.
I loved everyone's looks, but
Shout out to Evelyn Evermore for
Paige was
driving
pointing
out
to
here to help
Alpha
me.
with that compliment. I just want to, because the perspective's hard to see. So, do you want to tell us about your look, Alpha, since the mic's so close to you?
So close. So convenient. No, I think going into the prompt of the future of drag, I really wanted to keep my look drag. And even though it was going into the future, there are a couple things that I really wanted to keep as like sort of tenets of drag, like giant boa, big hair, cinched waist, a lot of makeup, and really take that to the nth with the lot of makeup turning into this body mod face reveal situation, drag done by aliens. What would a person in a human skin trying to do drag look like in this intense, futuristic, overdone future of drag sort of situation. So that's what I was going for.
That's great. What I'm hearing a lot is that not only are you thinking about the pageant as a whole, you know, the 1 and the 2 numbers, and your relationship to what you wanted to bring to each of these categories has a sort of overarching idea and theme. And I also hear that you are all really kind of in touch with your own personal, I hate the word brand, but, you know, aesthetic, brand, personhood, persona. And that's really beautiful to hear all of that kind of like thinking around that for this, preparing for this pageant. So when I prepared for the pageant, I know that was kind of like where all of my faculties were focused, you know, in terms of like coming up with like the ideas for everything. But then all of like the menial, tiny work, I kind of dispersed with with my little drag helpers, my drag family. What was preparing like for you? Was it all on your own? Did you have help? Was it easy? Was it hard?
Oh, it was so much. It was so easy. No, I literally did so much of it myself. I did my creative presentation look myself. I did my performance look myself. I did the bulk of the like gag parts for my crowning look. But a lot of it I dealt with myself. The only things I really sourced out were backup dancers, someone to make my gown for the end, and what else? Oh, hair. Nia did my creative presentation hair. That was it. So it was a lot. It's a lot.
It was a lot. I feel like Princess like sets a really high standard, at least for like like for everything. Honestly, for like look and performance. Like Tito went up a couple months ago and conjured a hologram. So I feel like we all felt like we had to really elevate. And so yeah, it was a similar situation here. One of my friends from Denver, who was like a specialist in like creating suits of armor and really weird like outfits, I asked her to like help me out with it, and she decided to come all the way out on a road trip, and we ended up constructing it together that entire week, everything except for the underwear thong that was improvised in the dressing room. We nailed all of that by like the night before, did all of my own hair, and like honestly the biggest time investment for me personally was with my final number being a big like concert and song. Like I wrote most of that. And I ended up like putting together a band that all had to figure out how to work and play together within like a month. And that was like super, super challenging, but also the most fun part. It made it really, really exciting, which I think like is probably a common experience. Like working with our backup dancers and our bands and all the other people involved is like the most exciting part because people kind of get to see your vision through.
Yeah, and we had like about I think it was like 1 month from when we were told like you're in the pageant to like now do everything you need for the 2 nights of the pageant. So there was I guess like it's a good amount of time, but like for me personally, so much life was happening in that window of time that I was like, how do I even focus on the pageant right now? But I'm like really, really proud of what I was able to bring out to the pageant, because first and foremost, like I did the pageant to like, because I was like in a really like hard place in life. I said, I need to like focus on like making drag like a love and a passion again. Cause I feel like it wasn't for a while. So I'm like, let me do this to like re-spark that love for drag. And then I also wanted to show that Sacramento drag is very much like, I mean, I love it. You know, I'm from Sacramento, and like, I always want to like champion for Sacramento to like show the world like, bro, like we have good drag, like trust us, like it's not just all drama online, I promise you. Like,
hey, we trust you.
So like I feel like I was really coming into the pageant with like a lot to prove for like myself. Like nobody like was putting this pressure on my shoulders except myself. So like I really like was doing this to like, you know, like feel like I was like actually like on the right path in life, which I feel like I did get at the end of the pageant. But everything that I brought to the pageant, there was hair by Shiksa. Thanks, Shiksa. A lot of costuming I put together myself, except for the finale night. All of my props, all of my finale gown and hair, all of it was sourced from Sacramento artists. So like I really wanted to just like keep the finale night 100% Sacramento to like really show my love for it and like put it on the Oasis stage. So it was like really personal for me to like get to have that 360 moment with like drag, people in my life and Sacramento as a whole. So I had a whole lot of fun and I got to show a lot of love for like the people that I have in my life. So
a lot of life was happening for me. I had a surgery on December 7th. One that had me in bed for 2 weeks and not moving about until a good 3 weeks out. So it was I actually shot the promo look 5 days after surgery. I hadn't actually been out of bed. So I like did just the quickest space I can, and I found the comfiest outfit that I could wear. I came in with a pillow here. I had a hysterectomy, so, it was abdominal. So I came in with a pillow. I did what I could, and then I went back to bed. And the doctor actually didn't clear me to like fully like go back to drag and dance until about the week before the pageant. Wow. So a lot of my practicing like the dance moves was like, okay, I'm just going to kind of get it into my body a little bit like this and then figure it out. But just as soon as I was feeling well enough, I was kind of like just trying to hit the ground running on making stuff. Because of that, I wasn't able to make every single thing. I did make my like finale dress, but I wasn't able to refine it or like do anything special, unfortunately, because of my health issues. But, the B look, I made the bustle from scratch. I made the dress, from scratch. I got the corset from Mystic City Corsets. And the pants were not made. They were bought, but embellished. And there were like fur bits and stuff on there that were embellished. I want to give a big shout out to the House of Cakes.
Ew.
Your kids, not you. For helping me with so much rhinestoning on my outfit. And also a big shout out to my partner, who helped with a lot of making. So going back to the runway, the wings were supposed to move. My partner actually 3D modeled a gearbox that had like movable wings, but the wings that were actually on them was too heavy and it broke day of. And I was in full crisis mode and I was like, that's the most futuristic part. What the fuck am I going to do? But people still liked it and people still felt like it read. So that makes me happy.
Shame that kept you from winning.
Yeah. I know. Also, my partner helped me with we got a 3D printer for ourselves as a Christmas present, and so we also 3D printed a lot of pieces for my Black Panther suit. So I made the suit, and then we bought files and then 3D printed all of the little bits on there, and then stoned the fuck out of that. And the helmet also was 3D printed and stoned by some of the cakes. So there was a lot of futuristic technology going into the outfits and stuff. The backup dancers were amazing and they mostly made their outfits. I think there was like one store-bought outfit that Chucha kind of did some stoning on. But Papi Churro and Luke Modelo, like they made props and outfits and, Major Hammy helped, Misbehavin', 100% was, like a huge help. Also Translucent, was a huge help. And just like both being like cheerleaders and like, being supportive, making sure that I ate and stuff, but also like help like physically do things. Translucent did my makeup for the runway look. So I had a lot of help, thankfully, because I would not have physically been able to do what I did. No.
We're going to take a quick break and start with Paige because I want to hear all about your preparation as well, because I also want to get the phone numbers of all of your backup dancers. Okay, so we'll be back in just a short bit. Welcome back. You'll see that it's a little different. Something has changed in the group. We are now joined by Mercury Divine. So just to fill you in, we were all just talking about our own preparations for the pageant, how it went for you, how much help you had, and generally what prepping was like. And we're starting where you left off with Paige. So Paige, why don't you pick up the mic and let us know how it was for you?
I have the mic. Oh, it was great for me. It was just a joy. No, it was like it was like 3 or 4 weeks of like straight hell. Also, so I think we kind of reiterated this, but we found out about being part of the pageant like early-ish December, mid-December, right? We had about a month. I was gone for like 8 days of that preparation time. I was like on my honeymoon, actually.
Oh, congratulations.
So while I was on that trip, I was actually like ordering things online so they would be ready for me when I came home. But it was a lot. So I made my entire runway presentation, creative presentation. I was very proud of it. It was a lot for me to do that. And I'm not notoriously good at making things. So made that. Made my lip sync dress, the rhinestone thing, the tearaway thing. I rhinestoned that like years ago, so I just kind of had that forever. Did the choreography. I had a bevy of backup dancers, as we have discussed, as all of us kind of did. Choreographed the whole thing. Learned some choreography from this like old movie, which I love. And made the looks. Lola Lude actually made my look for the big number, this like pink long train dress, which was just like a fantasy. And I rhinestoned the underneath, and made a lot of shit. It was a lot of work. Yeah. I'm still tired from it. Right.
And we gotta like throw that microphone all the way.
Don't throw it at a game.
No.
So the pageant, it was both more straightforward and harder than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. All the ideas came pretty fast, and all the like processes went pretty okay. There was a lot of crying, a lot of that, but pretty much everything I wore, with the exception of for the act on the second week, the blue shirt with the balloon sleeves. I did not make that. But pretty much everything else I wore, except for like, corsets and shoes and stuff, pretty much everything else I made myself. I had my best friend Dee, who lives in Seattle, do my light work for me, programming to get the lights. Like, I installed them, but then they did all the like computery mathy things. Because in addition to sports, gays are also not good at math. So not for me. And then my headpiece was made by a drag performer in San Diego. So other than, the mohawk, the lighting, and then undergarments and the blue shirt, I made everything else that I wore. So
So good. If I can step in for a second, one of the first things we talked about before you got here was the runway portion, and I'd love to get a little bit of your thoughts about how that came together, since you were one of the co-winners of that category.
So I was a little bit bummed that I didn't get the chance to describe like why I did what I did. A lot of thought went into that garment, and I had to kind of like afterward be like, by the way, here's all these words about this thing that you didn't get to hear. So the category was Future of Drag, Princess 3000, and I wanted to represent the future of drag in 3 different ways. One, literally with technology, advanced, light blinkies, cool, whatever, futury. And then also that script that was on the sash was Vulcan. It was Vulcan calligraphy. And, what's more fucking future than a literal alien in the future? So there's that. And the style of the robe and the garment was all designed after Vulcan fashion and whatnot. Like I said, a lot of thought went into this. And then the script itself was, like I said, Vulcan calligraphy. And it was the cornerstone principle of Vulcan philosophy, which is infinite diversity and infinite combinations. That's what I want the future of drag to actually be, is there really shouldn't be this or that, me or you, him or her. Like, it shouldn't be that. It should be literally infinite diversity and infinite combinations. So, there's my overthought
Vulcan
runway.
saying really brought a tear to my eye. I'm like misting over here. Aw.
She is
That's okay. I'll take it. I love lies.
First time in years. Yeah. Yeah. So week 1 was not only looks but lip syncs. So yeah, and question and answer. We could talk about it or not talk about it. We could talk about question and answer too, but this next question was about lip syncs. Was there anyone you wanted to lip sync against that you didn't get? Is there a song that you wanted to do but you didn't get? Or do you feel like it kind of not everybody needs to answer this, but if you have strong feelings about it?
Well, I already have the mic, so I'll just hog it for a little while. I just got here, making up for last time. I am very excited that I got to lip sync against Will because I love Will. Such a good spirit, good energy. Really nice to have Will around. And I got the song that I wanted. Of the songs that, we were told to prepare for, that was the song that I wanted and the one that I, planned for and hoped for. So the other song that Will got was You Spin Me Around, which I would have lived because it's actually in my repertoire. I have a very stupid tassel asshole stripping number. It's there's gloves with little tassels and I do this, for like a minute and a half. Anyway, so that was Will's other song. My other song was Sweet Dreams. So a good song, but it wouldn't have been as much fun, I feel like. Yeah, it's kind of one note. So I am really happy that we got Devil Went Down to Georgia. If I didn't lip sync against Will, I would have wanted to lip sync against Paige, because we're the nudists of the group. And I think that would have been really fun and interesting. And
that's
also,
something I said. If they're brave, they'd do King versus Queen, and I thought that 2 burlesque kind of like nudie people, that would be gorgeous. Yeah.
I know. I kind of really wanted to lip sync against Rosie. Just because I feel like we have very similar styles of performing that is including but not limited to creative walking. But it's what we do. And it'd be interesting to see kind of how we turn it against each other and make it exciting.
I did get the song that I wanted, so there was no problem there, and we obviously killed it and destroyed it. I wanted to lip sync against a king. In the entirety of like the drag competitions that I've done, the only time I have ever participated in a lip sync against a king or even witnessed a king versus queen lip sync was in a large like group 4-person lip syncing situation. So you don't get to see that very often, and I feel like it is purely out of underestimation of kings, and I would like to see it more.
So I'm probably gonna sound like a bitch here, but like after we did like the promos, like I was like sizing everyone up. I was like, okay, so like who do we have here? Like who can I take in a lip sync? And I was very much like in the same boat where I'm like, I've never really lip synced against a drag king. And like after I got the songs that I got, which were Misery Business and Sweet Dreams, I'm like, oh, I could knock out any king to this song. Like I'm like, oh, give me a king. I'm gonna, cause also like, cause listen, we were in a competition and like I went into night 1 thinking like, I need to kill presentation, kill the lip sync, kill Q&A to go into like night 2 with like as many points as possible to just like, sweeten the deal. And so I was like, okay, if I can like kill a king and like with one of these 2 songs, I'm gonna be good. Cause I was like also scared of like getting Alpha or Amora cause I've worked with them in the past. So I'm like, maybe not them cause I feel like they could beat me. But I'm like, give me somebody I don't know. And I feel like I'm not going to think about like, I know what they can do. Give me someone like I've never seen before. I actually ended up getting Kai Kai who I had never seen before. And like, I don't know how it was for you, Kai Kai, but like, I like at no point was like looking at you. I'm like, let me just like focus like at like performing so that way I don't get in my head. Then I watched the video back. I'm like, oh, she's killing me. She killed me.
I got Misery Business. My other song was Spin Me Round. And then like, I don't know, for Misery Business, that's like me just like regressing to like a teenager dancing in my room. And like when I watched the video back, I was like, yeah, that's what I did as a teenager dancing in my room. I didn't have who I wanted to lip sync against. I had who I didn't want to lip sync against, and that was Amora, because I was like, first of all, I don't have the skills to like beat Amora in a dance. Like
me neither.
Right.
we saw Alpha.
Right. But like, I have to say I've been I have to say I have been like learning things, and I've been like trying my best to like learn how to dance more, and I like in the past year I've learned how to do the splits. After surgery though, I was not able to do any of that shit against the Mora. I was like, I would have, I might have torn something. It might not have been cute. So, yeah. Ooh, my intestines. Slay.
I will say even without surgery, I don't think I could do with or without surgery. I could never compete with Mora. She's fucking so insanely talented.
With surgery, I would have won.
Right. If I would have had like
Shut up.
I just want to say, like, I can coach each and every one of you to beat Maura Tees in a lip sync. We'll do a 1-on-1, and we'll have the world versus a Maura Tees lip sync battle, and it's going to be so.
Any of us would do it.
subscribe to Patreon.
You two can
We have to do it too.
But no, yeah, go. What were you saying?
No, I agree. I think there were a lot of interesting pair-ups. I got the song I wanted. My other song was Toxic. So I think that would have been really fun. I had a lot of fun stuff planned for that. Same outfit, but, fun stuff. But I agree. Like, I think they should have put the burlesque dancers together. That's what I would have really enjoyed. But also, I have Alpha. I'm going to sound like such a fangirl, but I have, like, loved Alpha for a very long time. And I would have loved to, like, be on that stage with you as well.
My other song was Toxic.
No fucking way.
Yes.
Wow.
It almost happened. Okay, make note of that.
But if that wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have gotten the "Don't Rain
Angel,
on My Parade"
make
moment,
note
which
of
was such a joy to do. Honestly, like you're so wonderful.
Double shunt.
Well, let's talk about who won, because you two shared the win. And I think it's been said before that it was our Alyssa versus Tatiana. Does it feel good to have that double win?
No.
Talk about it. Talk about it, Chicksa.
I have been through a lot of therapy in my whole life, not just recently. So in my self-possession, I do believe that I won. But
And that's why she's mixed.
I believe that
congeniality.
Paige also did a fucking incredible fucking job. And that for the 4 people that were deciding the results of it, it was totally a crapshoot. And my opinion of how it went has nothing to do with it. So it was really exciting just to see 2 people who really love a particular song perform it very, very well. So like that's all that mattered.
I feel I've heard rumblings that "Don't Rain on My Parade" is like one of your kind of go-to songs. Is it right?
Just Barbara in general.
Barbara in general, yeah. I've been doing "Don't Rain on My Parade" and what's it? I'm the Greatest Star. Those are like some numbers that I started doing when I was like kind of starting out in drag. So it was like a really like cool full circle moment.
I also started off doing those 2 songs. So next time it'll be a 3-way tie.
Way to try to join in.
No, I think you both killed it.
It was insane. It was so fun to do, just to like have that reaction from the audience, and also like have the weird moments of like the many moments after we were finished of like, what the fuck are they gonna say? What's going on over there? We had no idea.
Honestly, like, can I say, like, so I went out into the audience for y'all's lip sync, and the energy and that. Because, like, standing right there, right near the dressing room, too, there were a lot of drag... There were audience members, too, but a lot of drag performers who were there to see the show were there. And we were just like... like, the whole time. And I could hear them, too, like, deliberating. And they were just, like... They were about to fight each other. So, like...
Nikki was
yeah.
mad. Nikki was pissed off because she loves that song.
Well, congratulations to both of you. Was there anyone going into, we hinted at it a little bit, some of your answers, going into the competition that you were afraid of, or that you thought would be tough to beat?
I tried not to think about it too much. The way that I approached the pageant was, I'm going into my 10th year of drag. Getting old. Oh boy. Yeah. So going into my 10th year of drag, I mostly just wanted to like beat myself. Like, I know my drawbacks. Like, I know what kind of a slacker I am and what kind of a procrastinator I am. And I wanted to like fight all of my neurodivergencies and all of my, maladaptive coping mechanisms. And I mean, like, I just like, skipped over hard mode and went to expert mode apparently because I also had a surgery. So like I just wanted to like defeat like any setbacks I had, and like I really focused in on like doing really well in the pageant, just like for myself to like, you know, I guess kind of prove something, like to say like I have learned something throughout all this time and I'm going to apply it. So
I just feel like for me personally, it was similar where it's like, if I was considering the other competitors, where I think like in competition, it's a lot more important to just like think about yourself and one-upping yourself. I think the only time that I considered that was when I considered that it was a competition of reputation. Whereas I realized that people like Kai and others, and Amora have, and Amora, I was looking around and I'm missing 3 people. And I realized, oh, everybody knows and loves these people and has spent a significant amount of like personal time with them. So like what I took from thinking about that was like the impression that I have to create must be bigger than the impression that Kai or Amora has created in the last 10 years of their career in order to surpass them, which was a little bit more of like a mathematical equation than being like, Kai is the one to beat. It was just like, I have to do really, really fucking good because they have this advantage.
I feel like no one can see me over here. That's okay. It is the glasses. So I actually, it's funny that Kai and Shiksa both brought up, I've been doing drag for 11 years now, so I feel that. And I just moved here, so I feel that. And also being one of the only kings in the competition, you know, I didn't come in, you know, wondering who I'm going to beat. I came in wondering if it was possible for me to win, because that is the hurdle that kings always have to jump over. And I trust San Francisco drag in general to be a little bit more open and welcoming, but years and years and years of being told that I'm not real drag and I'm not valid and what I do doesn't count, that's really hard to overcome. So that was the biggest thing that I wanted to beat, was that. So.
No one has brought up the, like, Drag Race workroom walk-in that was that first photo shoot. Just seeing people walk in, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it was like one after the other, like just people that I have followed and have been obsessed with. But the 2 that stood out as competition for me are standing out as competition because they book me for shows. Kai and Amora, like, have looked up to them for years. Kai gave me some of my first gigs in drag, got me on the Oasis stage for my first time. Like, I've looked up to you for ages. Same with Amora, like, love doing her shows, love performing with her. And, I think that's been the biggest thing was, oh, these people who have given me, you know, the keys before and have believed in me are now my competition. That was the weirdest sort of switch. But at the end of the day, it was still like, okay, I'm going to do what I can to bring me to this competition and, you know, kill it. That.
And it's that.
Yeah, and I want to like echo what Alpha said, because we're both like the 2 outside of San Francisco that like came in to do the Princx Pageant. And for me, like my biggest fear was like really going up against people that like I already like knew and have worked with for so long, because I'm like I'm the type of person to get in my head with like knowing like, oh my god, they can do all this and this that I can't do. Crap, they're gonna beat me. And like one of my fears was like because me and Yaya applied at the same time to be in Princx, but Yaya didn't do it, which like I was like, you know, sad for them but also like grateful for her, because I was like, crap, if Yaya's in it, like I always lose to Yaya, I'm gonna like lose to them again. So I was like, perfect, like with them not being in the pageant, I'm like, now I can like really like, you know, put like this distinction between like how I do drag without Yaya like by my side, and like really get into this pageant with like a lot of performers that I hadn't worked with before. Like I had heard Kai's name before, but I have never really worked with them. Or Willpower I had worked with once before. Mercury Divine had never, like, you know, there were so many people. Paige Turner, I have not worked with so many of these people before. I had never worked with Shiksa. I've only ever paid Shiksa to make hair for me before. So I'm like, oh, you do drag too? Cool. Let's see what you can. No, We worked together once. Sorry, the White Claw's hitting. But I was grateful.
Yes, it was. And you're a great kisser.
I was grateful coming into the competition
Wow.
with some people that I knew and a lot of performers that I hadn't worked with before, because it was a good balance of like, okay, I know what they do. I don't know what they do. Doesn't really matter. Just do what you can do. So I was like, perfect. All that's off the table. Focus on yourself. And I had a great time working with everybody in the pageant anyway. So, mwah.
Last comments on sizing up the competition?
Well, I thought Kaiko was very tall.
Very tall.
Very tall,
I
hard to
thought
beat.
Amora was very short.
Yes. That's right. That was your answer, right?
Yes. Speaking of, that's it.
We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with a whole new segment and get a little looser. All right. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. This is Willpower. So I have to say that after many years of doing drag, I've come to realize that Willpower is someone I'm still getting to know. And Willpower is not only a drag king. Willpower is a drag spider, a drag zebra, a drag caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. I've played so many things. I've played caveman. I'm playing a mushroom in my next show. And it's all drag. So whatever fantasy you want to come up with, you can. Although it's really important for us to have drag king representation, I think it's important that there's representation of all kinds too. We know that in mainstream media, we see a lot of drag is this thing. It's this one thing, right? And we all know what it is. But it's really not. And all over the country, there are people who want to express themselves in so many different ways. And drag is expensive. It's not limited to the binary. And it's not even limited to gender. We all sort of challenge our own drag in the sense of like, what is right and what is wrong? It's the same thing with witchcraft, you know? You might read a book about how to cast a spell, but that's someone's spell. You can make it your own. You can create it the way you want it. And it doesn't have to be of any particular modality. You have freedom. You have freedom. Drag is art. Even a competition is kind of silly, right? Because how can you actually rate what art is better than another art? It's all relative. It's all about each and everyone's soul and how it comes out of their holes.
Welcome back. Some of us needed to go pee, and that takes a really long time when you're in drag, but we made it. We're here. And I want to get your thoughts on a couple of these categories. Who is the funniest of the group?
Shiksa.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Mostly because she was drinking and I wanted to fuck her up. No. But also Shiksa. Yeah.
I knew you would self-nominate yourself, but it's nice that somebody else did it first.
I'm the only one that pursues it, unfortunately. Unfortunately for everybody else.
Who's the horniest of the group?
Amora's not here today.
Yeah.
Wait, why Amora?
We've seen her Twitter.
Okay. Oh. I thought
No shaming though.
Will's number
All of
was
our
pretty
bookings
horny. Yeah.
started as invites. Invites
on a couch.
Oh, casting couch.
To a
Okay.
very much like this.
Who's the meanest of the group?
Shiksa.
It's either me or Amora.
I'm a.
But I'm a little bit more to your face. Just a little bit.
Honorable mention Sally Lamone. They were backstage.
Which is Team
I
Amora.
was next to
so-
that.
Um,
Yeah.
By association, Amora, I guess. Sorry, Sally. You ruined
So Paige, you won Mixed Congeniality. Yes, I did. Why do you think you were voted?
Because you're a bitch.
How did you? No. I'm not surprised. We work together, and you're always very helpful and very great backstage. But did you get a sense that you were coming off that way to your contestants? And can you speak to that experience?
I was gonna say, why don't you all tell me?
Yeah. Why did?
No, I mean,
Paige
How
win?
congenial.
Thank you. Yes. You all take the mic. Was it rigged? No,
Is it fan favorite or is it Mixed
fan
Congeniality?
favorite or yeah. No, I don't know. I try to go into every. I'm not going to share my philosophy on I don't know whatever, but I try to just go into every situation with an open mind and like offer help where it's needed because people have helped me, and that's kind of it. So and just being nice and getting treated nicely in
Did
return.
anyone in this group not vote for Paige?
I'll
all
go.
of you?
I did vote for Willpower just because I was next to Will night 2 and their energy was just so like I'm like, of course I'm gonna vote you as Mixed Congeniality. I mean, come on. But when Paige won, I was like, I mean, that makes sense too. I mean, like everybody was there was no one really a bitch except maybe Shiksa. But there was I was not gonna write Shiksa's name on that slip of paper. Let's be real.
And you shouldn't have.
But I was like between Willpower, even Mercury. I didn't really like sit next to you, but I was like, I mean, they're not being shady. So yeah, I feel like it could have gone a lot of other ways. I didn't vote for you, though,
surprised to hear
Paige.
this, Shiksa?
I have a question. Wait, what?
Okay, welcome to In My Crumble Opinion with Shiksa.
I was only mean after the competition ended. So I'm just curious if I was mean or shady in the dressing room, because I do remember being incredibly self-involved. I was definitely focused, and I've only been mean to you all after because you were so pretty at the pageant, and now you guys look the way that you do. And that's all I had. That's all I had for a read.
No, I'm just like teasing Shiksa. Shiksa was not mean by any means. They were just like so laser focused backstage that, you know, they were focusing on the pageant. That's not like a bitchy thing to do.
Ultimately.
Nobody was a bitch to me. I'm just teasing.
And I voted for you for Miss Congeniality, yeah.
Wow.
That's all.
You can be nice and make it to the top. Let that be a lesson.
All right, we have a few more questions and, closing remarks. If you could do it all over again, what would you change? If you would change anything. You don't have to. I mean, Kai, you don't need to change anything. You won.
So the only part about the pageant that I felt totally not happy with, and I'm still kind of mad at myself about, is that the lip sync battle went very poorly for me. I still had a good time. I had fun. Will is great to be on stage with, and that song is a lot of fun. But I made the mistake of using the wrong type of pull cord for my reveal, and they snapped, and I couldn't get my fiddle, and it was all just a whole fucking mess. And I wish that I came up with 37 different other ways to do that reveal after, like, the day, after. So mad about that. Don't buy plastic pull cords, y'all.
Yeah, my only thing I would have done is gotten the fuck in front of Amora Tees.
Yes.
That's the only thing, especially watching Crumble back after. I'm like, God damn it, Mojo's right. Like, if I had gotten in front of Amora a little bit more, that would have been potential game changer. Who knows? Nothing else though. I'm really happy with the entire like pageant package that I brought. So that was really fun.
If I were to change anything that I had done, it would be to like fix the quirks in my runway. I would have made a gold thong for myself and not done it in the dressing room. And one of my original ideas was to wear a little like Shakespearean knightly mustache. And so I would have followed through and created a custom colored mustache. If I were to change anything about the competition in general, it would be to lift the time limit on our performances.
I was going to say, like, you didn't want to shorten your performance a little bit?
No, if I had the option to change my performance, I would have lengthened it because my original performance was written to be 18 minutes long.
Take a seat, everybody. We're gonna be here for a while. Get comfy. I feel like I'm echoing everybody. I was really proud of my package. If I were to tweak anything, it would definitely be my presentation look. Just because once I saw everybody in theirs, I'm like, oh my god, they they went all out for it. I felt like I was very like teeny tiny like in mine. So I was like, okay, maybe I should have like beefed that up a little bit. But what I was really proud about overall with my package was the talent number. I knew after watching last year's and going into this year's pageant, I knew like group numbers and like backup dancers were going to be like the crux of that night. So I'm like, how do I do this without that? Because I was like really like, I want to be like different and not do that. And so I'm really proud with what I did. And so yeah, I think the only thing I would have really changed was presentation. I would have beat that up a little bit.
Was it edible or was it prop?
A lot of people kept saying like, I want the corn. I want the corn. It was fully raw. That corn was not cooked. I did lick it on stage, but I was only licking the condiments, which were edible, but the corn itself was like completely raw. So
You have to cook your corn.
Obviously I'm very proud of what I did. I like overcame myself a lot. I think I would have definitely just, prioritized those wings a little bit more and made sure they work, because even though people seem like, I got really, really good feedback on that look, but like, man, imagine if I just like went like, and the wings just started flapping, like it would yeah, but it's okay.
First weekend wouldn't have changed a thing. I loved my runway presentation. I loved the lip sync battle with Shiksa. The Q&A I could have taken or left, but the second weekend I was just like so in my head. I guess I couldn't have like changed like the day that I had to like make myself in my head, but I think I would have just tried to like calm myself down a little bit more, because I know that it affected my performance. Like I had done that number like so much better in rehearsal, and I just did not feel like looking back, it looked great. Like I'm still very proud of the idea. Like I'm still really proud of what I put out there, but how I did it that particular time, I wasn't proud. I was so in my head that day.
Well, it always feels different on the inside than it is on the outside. And just for what it's worth, you and everybody else were amazing presentations all around, especially the talent. Just what a great night. It was really good. So you should be proud. And yeah, I don't think anyone walked away from your performance going, Paige Turner was in her head, except for maybe Florida Man over there. Projecting. Do you agree with the judging? Do you think it was fair? Do you think it was consistent? Do you all of it? So yeah,
Overall judging?
Overall judging of the different categories and like how everything panned out.
I'll take.
Come on, Mixon.
Oh, yeah.
What you gotta say? What you gotta say?
No, someone else go.
I agree. I disagree entirely. I agree with pretty much all of the judging. I like Kai. I think this was well earned and speaks immensely to like I said before, like your reputation within the community. And I reached out to you afterwards, and I was like, you are the sweetest, kindest drag queen I know. On top of the fact that you killed the entire competition, so you have like that judging made perfect sense to me. The only thing that I take issue with, who won question and answer? I take issue with that. But you would have won anyway. But I should have won it.
No, that was exactly my answer too. Because I liked my Q&A. It was solid. And I think you talked about it in your Crumble episode where you were like, these are not necessarily talking performers. We're not big on the mic in the Bay.
Or at least out of this cast
that.
as well. Like, we have a lot of amazing performers in many different ways.
So I think I held myself very well in Q&A, and that was a bit of my strong point.
So in case you haven't noticed, I love being on the mic. I love hosting. I love talking. I'm on the A spectrum, and my question was about porn. What the fuck was I going to do with that? So that's why I just, it was, if your life was a porn, what would it be? And I was like, my life literally would not be a porn because I'm on the A spectrum. Like, I don't give a fuck about sex really most of the time. So like, so I did what I do when I don't know what to do, which is keyboard smash. I said literally, like, it would just be a keyboard smash, and that's the name of my porn, and take it or leave it. And it was a terrible answer, but it was some shade, a terrible question.
Well, just if it makes it, the blow any easier for anybody, I just want you to all know that Mojo Carter said that all of the Q&As were terrible. She said
And I would like to
you
take
were
this
all
all to say,
horrible.
Mojo Carter, you will never work in this city again.
And she's like, I have shows in LA, so
Until you win Miss Continental 2024.
I think after night one, I knew I was like, yeah, Kai and Nomura top two. Like it's a race for third place. Is like what I had said after night one was done. I was like, and again, that's like me being in my head, but also I called it. So I was like, yeah, they're definitely top two. They killed presentation, Q&A, lip syncs. Like they are in the top. So when we were all on stage, I had already counted myself out to be top three. And again, that's me being in my head, but I had so much fun anyway. And so when they called my name, I truly 100% did not expect my name to be called. So that already was wow. I was okay, not what I planned at all.
So you disagree with the judges?
I low-key, either I disagree with the judges or either that number scored enough points to wipe out my flop of night one, but Kai and Nomura being top two, I called out night one because I was yeah, they absolutely killed it. So yeah.
I honestly wasn't super sure what was going to happen, especially seeing Nomura's number. I was like, phew. I'm glad that folks really liked it and that the judges liked it. But you mentioned that I had relationships with the judges panel and stuff. At the same time, because the judges have seen what what I'm able to do, they're also going to be they're going to hold a certain standard for me too. There was no getting away with anything. So, but overall, I did feel everyone I don't know, everyone on the judges panel seemed like they were doing their best to be very impartial. So,
can you talk us through casting Chucha as Namor?
Just immediately, I saw the movie, I knew I wanted to do the number, and then I said, Chucha, if I can't get, and also, I actually cast, Poppy, Jinxie as Namora first. And they were hey, cause I talked to them about my vision. I wanted this to be about Black excellence, Indigenous excellence. And I had a dream team in my head, and I gotta say, I got my fucking dream team.
Because I wanted Poppy in my number.
You can't have all the kings. No, but I like I said, that was the thing that really struck me about the movie too, was that it was some badass Indigenous actors and badass Black actors just running the show for 2.5 hours, and I want a little slice of that, especially going into Black History Month, and especially the movie was about to come out and stuff on Disney Plus, and yeah, I just felt sometimes I see actors and I'm ooh, they look like this person I know, and I felt Chucha was that person. Also, Chucha's fucking hot. So I was of course I want this hot person that kind of looked like Tenoch Huerta in my number. And also yeah, I know that Namor, the biggest buzz around him when he got cast was he's hot. I need a hottie to do that. So Gaymore was born that night, and I'm proud to have been a part of that. And he made it. Chucha made that whole costume too, and so talent, the looks, the whole underwear. There was a chest piece. There was a cape. So, but yeah, yes.
I wasn't paying attention.
What are we talking about? No, I passed. I love that. I passed the mic at first because I obviously completely agree. I'm so happy with how things turned out, and just very, I gotta say, this is gonna sound very congenial, but I'm really proud of everybody. I snuck out into the audience as much as I could to fucking watch. I was blown away by everything I saw. I was just I don't know, it was amazing.
Well, y'all are just
this is just
nice.
Fucking.
No one's gonna watch
Cheese
this.
fest.
What was your favorite part of the competition? And try to keep it to one sentence.
The lip sync battle with Shiksa.
Working with my backup dancers.
Night two, talent and final presentation. I feel I just did what I needed to do, and I was very proud.
3 sentences.
There was commas.
The comments.
You didn't say no run-ons.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, do I get any sentences?
You used
Rehearsing with my band and writing original music.
My performance number and being able to highlight San Jose talent.
As a king new to the Bay Area, it meant a lot to me that such amazing kings would be my backup dancers because they have no reason to trust me. They don't owe me anything. There's no favors there. And they did it anyway. It meant a lot. Period.
Final 2-part question. Who do you want to see compete next year? And also, do you have any wisdom or advice to impart on future contestants of this particular competition?
You don't need to limit yourself. Even though, the media, society, people say that drag has to be a certain way, it really doesn't. And if you just allow yourself to be yourself, shine your light the way it is, there are people out there that you're going to be helping. And ultimately, drag is about helping community. It's about strengthening community through your own expression. So no matter what you do, there's no perfection. Art is, it's an illusion. Perfection is an illusion. Art is an illusion. Life is an illusion. So create the illusion you want. And don't live in illusions that other people created for you. You'll be helping a lot of people. That's for sure.
I know I want to see Bonita next year. Down.
5 years?
I think she hits 5 years next year. So if she's not in it, I will riot. But I think the only advice I have is to just do whatever the fuck you want. And if you lose doing something that you liked, then you lost doing something that you liked. Like, period.
I've already said in this that Mojo Carter is my winner of Princx 2024. She's my winner of anything that she enters. But I would also like to see Bonita, and also because it was mentioned to me, Princess Pinocha was saying how cool it would be to have a Princx that had that was all legends or even older than 5 years. And she wants to compete against Mary Vice and similarly classed people. I think that would be really, really cool. And then, my advice is very similar, is just do whatever the fuck you want. You will be hard pressed to find a competitive show of any kind, especially in drag, especially when you're working with queer people, that is not manipulated or rigged in some way, shape, or form. You will not find one. Even one that does not have the influence of the person that produces that show. And so have fun with it and figure out who they are and enjoy spending time with them.
In the honor of highlighting Sacramento drag, I would love to see Yaya do the Princx Pageant. Outside of that, I think also Central Valley drag in general has really good drag. So I'd love to see Bijou Bentley because that's my girl. I write hard for them so
Liz.
hard. And Liz, yeah. If Liz, I don't think I've seen Liz do a competition. I'd love to see Liz do a competition like that. But Yaya and Bijou, those are my girls. I'd love to see them, elevate Sacramento and Central Valley drag. And the only wisdom I would impart is trust yourself and challenge yourself because that's really what it comes down to.
I would love to see Diana. I think she's gonna be around. Yeah, so I would love to see Diana. I would love to see her do a big number, a big look, something like that. As far as wisdom goes, I think I think it's good to not underestimate keeping it simple in certain ways. Don't necessarily try to do you can do big without doing the most, and don't overthink it. Don't have a concept, something that reads well, something that feels good, and something that you love and the audience is gonna love.
And that's what you want. That was so good.
That's really good. I would love to see Oliver Branch. I love Oliver. I was at the Edge when Oliver first performed in the city. It might have been his first performance ever. as a king. But I love Oliver. We're good friends, and major shout out. Advice-wise, I would just say, I talked about this earlier, but don't get in your head. And check yourself and know when you are getting in your head, because that's when you're going to like lose the fun a little bit.
Long way around. Yes. The scenic route. I don't know if both of these kings have been doing drag for 5 years or not, because I'm new to the Bay. But I would love to see both Hennessy Williams and Lotus Boy do this pageant, because they both... I know Hennessy is. I don't know if Lotus Boy is, because I actually have barely gotten to hang out. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a little tea. I was only at 4 years when I competed last year. So I think if you're good...
Which Lotus Boy, if you told me Lotus Boy was doing drag for like 15 years, I would believe it, just because like it is buttoned up, it is polished. Like Lotus Boy knows exactly what that product is that is going on that stage. There's a message and an identity. And so I would love to see either one of them compete. And my advice would be, sorry, I'm going to be that person. There's two pieces. Even if you're not a competitor, do it anyway. I completely lack the competition gene. I almost didn't do it, and Puppy had to talk me into doing it. And it was worth it. There was none of that competition bullshit backstage, which was really good. And my other piece of advice would be, do you from like literally your core. If there's any piece of what you're doing that does not actively excite you, it will not go correctly. It is what it is.
Well, I'm glad you shared that advice. That was good. Did everyone get a chance to answer that question? Yeah. Wow. Well, this concludes our... Sorry, my producer's like, take a break. It's like, yeah, bitch, we're stopping. Thank you. I just want to say, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy weeks. I know you're also booked and blessed and beautiful. And it just means a lot to me that you would come on this show and share, your experience. Because obviously, I was a big fan of this cast. No one did better than I did my previous year, but that's okay. But it was nice.
And we want to thank you as a bunch of runner-ups to the queen of runner-ups.
Thank you for coming.
Phoebe Cakes.
This is the runner-up show.
That's your tagline.
Your favorite runner-ups, runner-up.
Yes.
So we do have some Patreon exclusives. We're going to sing the jingle for you on the Patreon. We're going to learn it. Maybe it'll be our new jingle. And then also we have a special photo exhibit that Shiksa provided, some tea backstage, and you want to check that out. Thank you again for tuning in, and this was a lot of fun. Okay. Let's just mug at the camera for a little bit. Okay. Yeah.
That's so funny because I booked there every week for the next 7 weeks.
In my crumble opinion.
Well, we didn't have Amora here. Let's do that.
That was our
Yeah, because then it would have been really fucking bad.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, everyone. That'll be on Patreon, so that'll be behind a paywall. Don't worry.
Yeah.